The most uncomfortable truth about what Michael Irvin just said is not that it was bold or loud or emotional, it's that it felt dangerously believable, because when you strip away the smiles, the celebration, the hats, and the t-shirts, what he was really saying was that the rest of the NFC might already be behind the Philadelphia Eagles and not even realize it yet. Because this wasn't just another division win. This wasn't just another December stat-padding performance. This was a warning. Disguised as confidence, a reminder that when Jalen Hurts looks calm, decisive, and in control late in the season, history stops mattering and excuses disappear. And that's why people are uncomfortable. Because nobody wants to admit that a team everyone questioned earlier in the year might be quietly lining up another Super Bowl run right in front of us. And Michael Irvin didn't dance around that reality. He went straight at it, saying Jalen Hurts looked Super Bowl ready. And when that phrase lands from someone who knows exactly what championship football looks like, it forces a conversation the league isn't prepared to have. Because if Hurts really is peaking now, if this offense really has found its identity again, then the NFC East curse didn't just get broken, it got buried. And the rest of the conference might be chasing something that already has momentum, confidence, and belief on its side. Which is why this game against Washington suddenly feels bigger than the scoreboard. Bigger than the injuries, bigger than the context people are trying to minimize. Because moments like this don't scream their importance, they whisper it. And only the people who've been there before recognize the sound. What happened was simple on the surface but explosive underneath. The Eagles clinched the NFC East early, took control of the game quickly, leaned into exactly who they want to be, and walked out with a 29-18 win that officially ended 2 decades of division chaos, and the conversation immediately shifted from whether Philadelphia could win games to whether they're timing this thing perfectly, because Jalen Hurts didn't just manage the game, he dictated it, stepping into throws, threatening the defense, creating space, and playing with the kind of efficiency that makes coordinators uncomfortable and defenses exhausted. And Michael Irvin zeroed in on that, pointing out how different this offense looks when Hurts has room to see, room to move, and permission to be himself. And that's the part that matters, because this wasn't about flashy numbers or highlight reels. It was about control, about rhythm, about the quarterback looking like the game was slowing down instead of speeding up. And when that happens in December, people start whispering the word nobody wants to say out loud. If you're enjoying this breakdown and you want more real, unfiltered NFL conversations like this, take a second to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Because this story is just getting started, and the postseason is going to expose a lot of truths very quickly. From there, the analysis deepened, because this wasn't just about Hurts throwing touchdowns, it was about how the Eagles are building their wins, outrushing Washington 207 yards to 90, a number that Michael Irvin didn't casually mention. He emphasized it, because that's dominance, that's identity, that's imposing your will, and it all circles back to Hurts as a runner. 7 carries, 40 yards, nearly 6 yards per carry, and Irvin laid it out plainly. When Hurts carries the ball 7 or 8 times, the Eagles win. When he doesn't, they don't, and that's not a gimmick, that's the formula, because his legs unlock everything else. They force defenses to hesitate, they create one-on-one matchups outside, they open lanes for Saquon Barkley to punish defenses that are already stressed, and suddenly the Eagles aren't just executing plays, they're dictating reactions. And that's when a roster like this becomes dangerous, because as Irvin pointed out, this team is built for space, not congestion. Built for spreading defenses sideline to sideline, letting athletes be athletes, letting A.J. Brown get targets early, letting Dallas Goedert work the middle, letting Barkley hit lanes that don't exist if the defense isn't stretched thin. And when the Eagles do that, it looks easy, but it isn't. It's intentional, it's calculated, and it's peaking at exactly the right time. The tension in this conversation comes from the fact that everyone knows it hasn't been perfect. Special teams issues showed up, a fumbled opening kickoff, missed field goals, moments that could haunt a team in January, and those concerns were not ignored. They were addressed directly, because championship teams don't pretend flaws don't exist. They acknowledge them and fix them. And Nick Sirianni's confidence in Jake Elliott wasn't brushed off, it was contextualized, because this late in the season, you don't panic, you correct, and the bigger picture remains unchanged. The Eagles are playing their best football right now. And that's not a throwaway line. That's the most important thing a head coach can say in December. Michael Irvin's comments carried extra weight because he wasn't hyping a fluke. He was recognizing a pattern, a team that's trending upward, a quarterback who is embracing his dual-threat identity instead of fighting it, and an offense that looks most dangerous when it trusts its own strengths, not when it tries to copy league trends. And that's why the phrase Super Bowl ready landed the way it did, because readiness isn't about perfection. It's about knowing who you are and leaning into it, without hesitation. Even as the conversation drifted briefly to other games and other quarterbacks, the contrast only reinforced the point. Backups stepping in, teams scrambling to adapt, offenses trying to survive, while Philadelphia looks increasingly comfortable in its own skin, increasingly confident in its approach, and increasingly dangerous because of it. And when you consider that tougher opponents are coming, including a matchup against Buffalo, the confidence isn't reckless, it's measured. Because this team knows the test is coming and they're welcoming it. What Michael Irvin really did was challenge the narrative. He challenged the idea that this Eagles team is just another good regular season squad. He challenged the idea that the NFC is wide open. And he challenged defenses to stop an offense that is finally aligning scheme, personnel, and mindset at the same time. And that's why this moment matters. Because once belief sets in, once momentum meets clarity, teams stop asking if they're good enough and start proving it. And that's where the Eagles appear to be right now, right on the edge of something bigger, with a quarterback who looks comfortable carrying that weight. And when someone like Michael Irvin sees that and says it out loud, the league has no choice but to listen, because those words don't come lightly and they don't come without warning.